Real Sports Fan Podcast back for another episode. It is Monday night, 7 p.m., August the 10th, and this is still season 3, episode 25, and we are rolling into the season, and we on time tonight too. So I'm happy about that. So I got a very, very special guest, man. A guy I've known for a long time, had a lot of battles on the hardwood. A guy that one thing I like about him is he never minces his words. He's someone that says just like it is, and that's what I like about him, because a lot of people don't do that, and especially in these times. So right now I have with me Jonathan Fletcher. What's going on, Fletch?
What's going on, man? How everything going tonight?
Man, everything is gravy, man. I appreciate you hopping on, man. What I try to do is I always try to seek out different people to get on this podcast. So you were one of the people I had said months ago. I said I got to reach out to Fletch, get him on here. So I appreciate you not being like, man, I ain't got time for that, or man, that ain't
no problem,
So I appreciate you, man. Jumping on here and chopping it up with me. And one thing I try to do, especially in this, this season, because early on, sports was canceled and with COVID and everything going on. What I try to do in these interviews is really give people their flowers while they can still smell them. That's really, and that's why I got you on here, man, because I appreciate, I'd rather tell you, that now than, when you're going, I can't tell you. So this is kind of appreciation to you, and all you've done and how I've known you. You've always been a stand-up guy, man. So again, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you,
that, man. Sure. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to this conversation tonight, man.
Man, that's going to be good, man. That's going to be good. I appreciate it. Everybody out there, please post your comments, anything you want Fletch to answer, he'll answer, so, whatever it is, man, hey, whatever it is, hey, put it in there. Don't wait and wish you had said something before you ask something. He gonna give it to you just how he give it to you, raw and uncut. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So first and foremost, man, even before we get into any of the questions and stuff like that, man, first and foremost, man, how you and the family been with everything going on?
Man, everything's been good, man. My girls are good, man, everybody's in the up and up. And to be honest with you, we just been staying out the way, on the work. My kids ain't really done nothing, you know what I mean? Of course, because we are on such a lockdown and you got to protect your kids. So, for them, they get out here and there, but for the most part, we just been staying out the way, man, because listen, people crazy.
Man, it's crazy. It's real out here, man.
Yeah, it's real out here. And you know what I mean? And I noticed one thing, if as a man, if nobody else care about your family, it's your responsibility to make sure your family's safe. So I just been staying out the way, chilling, man. So
that's good, man. That's good. That's the best way to be, man. So definitely good to hear. And I think I seen a video a couple months ago with your little girl singing. In church. Yeah, man. So I know that's a problem. Yeah, because singing, people don't know, which they should. It runs in the family. Am I right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
she just following along. Yeah, man. That's good. Yeah, that's good, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's what's up, man. So again, man, appreciate you jumping on here. Appreciate everybody that's listening. Like I said, share the video, start your watch parties, all that good stuff. It's Facebook Live right now to be on YouTube in a couple of days. So definitely check it out. If you ain't subscribed, go subscribe to the Real Sports Fan Podcast on YouTube. But Fletch, man, first and foremost, man, just talk a little bit about growing up, in the area and things you've endured and seen growing up. For some of you don't know, you grew up in the church. So just talk a little bit about growing up and everything for some that might don't know.
Well, a lot of people don't, a lot of people in my neighborhood might know, but as far as when it comes to our neighborhood, my mom and dad, I grew up in a 2-parent home. I got 9 brothers and sisters, including me. A lot of people, always considered us to be a big family. Like everybody knew us from the perspective that we were just a big family. A lot of people don't even know, like when we was younger, we wasn't allowed to play ball with everybody or go as we call it cross track, go down to the boat dock. Like my dad had a saying, like it's enough of us to play in the backyard.
And that's true. It was enough of y'all.
Yeah, it was enough of us, right?
Yeah.
He used to tell us all the time, if your friends want to play ball with y'all, they got to come to your house. So like we used to have battles. I'm talking about a dirt court, pull the car up, turn the lights on, battles. you know.
Uh-huh.
And it taught us toughness. It taught us, you know, a lot of things that our young kids don't have today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That outside endurance. You know, I used to tell people all the time, we used to play ball when we wake up, you know, get your breakfast, brush your teeth, and we go outside and hoop.
Going right out there.
We go outside and hoop, you know what I mean? Then we come back in, might eat a little dinner or something. If it's still light out, we going back out there to get
the street lights come on.
In. Yeah, we used to play a lot, man. And I mean, as far as the church go, like a lot of people don't even know, man. Listen, my mom and dad raised us heavy in church. Like I'm talking heavy.
I know what you mean.
We couldn't participate in sports unless we participated in church. You know what I mean? And I remember growing up, we had a game on church nights. If the bus wasn't gonna stop us at the church, we couldn't make it.
That wouldn't happen. Nah,
it wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't gonna happen. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I really thank God for my upbringing, man, because a lot of stuff that my friends kind of experienced, I didn't experience. You know, I tell people all the time, it's okay not to have a testimony of struggle growing up. I didn't have a struggle growing up. Me and my brothers didn't struggle growing up. My dad provided for us. You know, he made sure we were straight. We had everything we needed and some of the things we wanted. And, you know, my mom did. And I'm not, before I say this, I don't want no woman think I'm telling them they got to quit their jobs and be house or whatever. I'm not saying that, people. I'm just speaking for my mother. My mother did not work until we all graduated high school. You know what I mean? My mom literally took care of the home, made sure everybody was straight, wasn't no foolishness going on. And my dad provided, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we had a good upbringing, man. That's why I tell people all the time.
Yeah.
I missed out on a lot, but it was for my benefit.
It was for your benefit.
Benefit. Right,
you know, you made some great points there, though, because, you know, one, even when you were talking about your mom and her being a stay-at-home mom, you know, COVID-19 has taught people, I'll say the women, have taught the women how difficult it is to be a stay-at-home. You know, some people think, oh, you going to work all day, what you coming home? You know, that's a lot of work.
It's
to manage a household. Come on now, manage the kids, the food. I mean, it's a lot.
And a lot of them are going through with 2. Imagine 9.
Man, come on,
know
bro.
What I mean? That's why I tell people all the time, it's not that I'm not sensitive towards how you feel as a woman with 2 kids, or whatever, or 3 kids, whatever. But when I know a woman that did it with 9.
You seen it.
I seen it. You know what I'm saying? And that time, it wasn't like now where so many opportunities to be great. My dad was a factory worker. You feel what I'm saying? He worked my dad been on the same job for 46 years. So it's not like,
that's great.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just talking out my head. No, my mom did it with 9 kids. Now, because she needed a break here and there, of course. That's why my dad made provision for them to go out on honeymoon trips and, you know, go on vacation alone or go out to dinner alone. My dad kept that balance with her where it didn't stress her to the point. And my mom literally enjoyed being a mother, you know.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's good. And one other thing you touched on, which you kind of got into it, and maybe you can get into a little more, is that those battles in the backyard with your siblings. I mean, just talk a little bit because I'm pretty sure it was a lot of scrapes, blood sometimes, you know, but the love was there, and I'm sure that as you got older, when you got the rec ball in high school, it was easier because of the competition home. So let's talk a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
Well, see, that dirt ball with us, man, it got real intense because if anybody know us, we are very, you know, I'm the best, can't nobody stop me. That's just not that's all of us. So it was always, yo, you're not better than me, yada yada yada. I remember one time it got real intense, like we out there arguing, fighting or whatever. And my dad was in the house and he heard it. That's how loud it was. And we got a big land and my dad heard it. Man, my dad came out there and put it on us. I'm talking about hands. Y'all not gonna fight each other. That's not gonna happen. So that kind of kept us like, yo, we might argue, but it ain't gonna get the blows because we gotta answer the dad, and dad's not gonna play no games. So I mean, we had those battles, man. And a lot of people don't know, like when we was coming up, like when people would come play with us, my baby brother Joey, who everybody think is the oldest, but he is the baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah. He's just bigger than everybody.
He's just bigger.
I used to take him I used to have him on the side. So like when we pick teams and nobody pick him up, I would get him because I knew he was a sniper. Like I knew he could shoot the rock.
I got you. Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
I
right.
knew,
Yeah.
like even a young boy, like you gotta think I'm 7 years older than Joe. So like
Mm-hmm,
when I was like 14, he was like 7, 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
right.
get my brother. Everybody be like, oh nah. He
Mm-hmm.
too
You
little.
can have her. Yeah.
All right,
Uh-huh.
all
Uh-huh.
right. But after
Leave
about
them
4 or
open.
5 straight, yeah. After about 4 or 5 straight, it's Dennis. Who got him? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, man,
Yep.
them backcourt battles, man, it made us tougher. You know what I'm saying? And my mom and dad was the type of person is don't come in here crying. You fall, clean it up, go back out there. You know what I mean? And my dad was an advocate. You know, at one goal, everybody got to go. So it wasn't you wasn't gonna come to our yard and talk crazy, act like you gonna do. I mean, my dad built toughness in us to the point where we didn't back down from nothing. You know what I'm saying? We just that dirt court. I tell people a lot of times, I wish our kids of this generation now had those dirt court experiences, man.
I grew up on the dirt court and the creek courts, man. It wasn't no real court. Creek courts. You put the crate up, you ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how it's hard. And it's still
like
that toughness.
They don't know. Yeah.
No, they don't know about that.
They don't know about that, man.
They don't know about that.
It was good for us because it helped us, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, because
and that makes sense too.
Yeah, because when you go to school, you got the whole you a church boy. You know, you get all those names called.
Oh man.
So like I experienced all that, but see, at the same time, my dad, we was comedians too. Cause like me and my sisters, we would get on the bus and whoever wanted to, because as we call it, cracking jokes, whoever wanted that heat, we wanted it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, it was good that, and I hate to say it like that because people would think, oh man, the dirt court did that to you. Man, the dirt court brought the toughness out of you. Because you was either gonna stand, or be folded. And my dad told me, and we wasn't gonna be folded, not in our own yard.
Nah, not your own yard. And that that makes sense, dude. You know, when you telling that story, even playing against, because I'm probably one of a few. I know Cabby did too. I'm probably one of a few. I played against you, Jeremy, and Joey. Right. So I don't know if it's too many people that play against three of y'all in high school, but I played against all three of y'all high level. So that talk and that toughness, now that you said that, it makes sense. On when I play against all that, it makes sense. And then another thing you said, even going back to, I know you were saying, like, if you had a game on a church night, like you said, if they ain't stopping by the church, you're going to miss the game. And I can relate to that somewhat as well, because I grew up straight holiness, and I had to go Tuesday night Bible study. We had Saturday morning, the kids had choir practice. On Sundays, we had Sunday school, morning service, afternoon service, and evening service.
Yes, sir.
There were 3 services on Sunday.
Yes,
so
I'm
with you, man. Yeah, yep. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But it's good foundation, and like you said, that sometimes we think we missed on this and missed on that, but some of the things we missed on was for a reason, because we might not be here right now. We don't know.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
As kids, we don't understand. As kids growing up, we didn't understand it because we wanted to have fun like everybody else was having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people, I'm not telling people that we grew up, all excited about the church and all that. Nah, we wanted to have fun. But the reality is, my parents saw something else, so we just it was either obey the rules or move, and we ain't had nowhere to go.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up, man. So out of I know you said it's 9 of y'all. So where are you at as far as the 9?
I'm number 5. I'm in the middle.
Okay. I'm
right
in the middle.
I'm number 5. Yeah. And see, a lot of people don't know because my dad had 3 other kids before my mom and him got married. So a lot of people don't know the 3 other kids. But yes, I'm right in the middle, man. I'm right in the middle.
Right in the middle. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So as you start to get older and start to take I know you already playing basketball, like you said, in the backyard. Did you play, even before high school, we talk about that. Did you play rec ball or AAU or anything like that? Talk to a little bit about that.
My first experience, we did play elementary ball, but elementary was more or less a fun for us, running up down the court. Yeah. But my first time ever being instructed was by a lady named I call her Miss Mary, but her name now I think is Chester now, Stephanie Chester.
Oh, okay.
She formed a team called Mary's Boys, and she picked like the best. Like it was like 12 or 13 of us out the whole school. And that kind of gave us the foundation of discipline. when it comes to basketball, because she was like, she didn't tolerate no foolishness. You know what I mean? And when I say discipline, I'm talking about all the way across the board. Grades, respect for teachers, what you're doing at home, being disciplined on the basketball court, you know what I mean? So she was the first person that ever gave me the foundation of structure when it comes to basketball. You know what I'm saying? We already knew how to play hard, but when it came to that gym floor structure, yeah, she kind of helped us with that. So by 8th grade year, my 8th grade team probably could beat our freshman team, because that's how good and disciplined we were, you know what I mean? But yeah, as far as that, she was a lady that really taught me the discipline of even the stuff I do now. Some of it, I get it from, I bring it from what was taught to me from her. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because like you said, it's a difference, and that's why everybody, even if you think about it, I'm sure you knew, kids that you play ball with, in the yard or in the street that they couldn't play, organized ball, because it's a difference. Like you got to get, like you said, get that structure, and that that means a whole lot, when you're talking about that. So that's a great point you made as far as that as well. Did you talk about going into starting high school?
Oh man,
did you play JV? Talk a little bit about that. About ninth. Talk to me about 9th and 10th grade, if you don't mind.
My 9th grade year, I sat the bench, and people don't know. Let's see, I went into 9th grade year. I'm like, I'm better than the ones that was on JV. Like our varsity was pretty good, so I always had that feeling I wasn't going to play varsity my first year. I kind of figured that, but even though I felt like it was a few of us that could have played varsity. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of times the coaches don't really know us, because when I was coming up, we didn't really see the high school coach that much at a middle school game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't know he didn't even know the talent.
It's not like now. Yeah, it's not like now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was my 9th grade year, we were so arrogant, cocky, like, man, these niggas is, I mean, although I said the word, these dudes is trash, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we great coming here and put up work, because, like, we felt like we was really that good. But then I met Tom Coursey that showed me we really wasn't that good. And what I mean by that is the game sped up. It got faster. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It got a lot faster. And Tom Coursey, like, I remember when he told me straight up, called me out in front of everybody. He was like, you the most softest finesse player ever. And at the time, I'm looking at him like, what you mean?
What you talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm tough. And he was like, you're never going to get in the game. Like, he straight up told me, you're never going to get in the game. And I never forget it. My mom told me straight up, my dad, I don't want to hear it. If you want to play, get better. And I saw myself, man, I used to walk up down the street, dribble. And then finally, my mom and dad, I don't know what happened that made my mom and dad start saying, y'all can go cross track. And the first time I went across track, it had to be every bit of 90 people out there to play ball. To play ball. Wow. Like, it was so deep. It was people that I had never seen in my life. I'm like, who this? Everybody, people explaining who's the killer. Yeah. And I knew right then and there I wanted it. So my sophomore year came in. I didn't even think I was going to start, because I was, like I said, I probably had 18 points a whole year my freshman year. And I said, man, sophomore year, man, I don't know what's going to happen. So I said, I'm going to work hard. I busted my tail that summer. I worked hard that summer and came back. November 15 came. I was in, good shape. I was ready. And I'll never forget it, because Tom Coursey never told people who was starting. When you got to the game, you knew who was starting.
That's how you found out.
That's how I found out. And that first game, I kept saying, yo, I in my mind though, I want to start, because I'm great. I want to kill. And when he called my name, I was so amped up. And it went on from there. Like, after maybe the 10th, 11th game, I got moved up to varsity, and I ain't looked back.
That's it. Y'all ain't look back. Yep.
Look back.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but
it was
a struggle. I tell people this, man. If you think you that good, the only thing that will humble you is a coach put you on the bench. I'm talking about all the way at the end of the bench, where he not even looking to put you in. And Tom did that. Yep. Tom did that. And I remember I asked him one time, why did he do that? He told me straight up. He said, I knew you was gonna be good, but you was too cocky and arrogant. And
Had to humble you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to humble you a little bit. That's real though. That's real though. And those are life lessons, man. Life lessons. That's what's dope about it. You look back at stuff like that, like at the moment, like you say, you mad, like, man, this, that, and then you look, you know, in your 30s, and you like, you know, that was the best thing. That was the best thing.
Especially when you feel like you're better than the ones that's playing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in practice, you giving out work. You like, come on, I'm killing them in practice. Like,
right.
But I think it was bigger than that, man. And to be honest with you, it was the best thing that happened for me, for real.
That's what's up. So you get that confidence, like you say, your freshman year, you don't play that much. 10th grade, you end up playing more and getting a lot better and you know, start seeing your game develop. Talk about your junior year, because I tell you, man, a little story about your junior year. I know you had guys on your team, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, you know, Julian Taylor, Vernon Murray.
That was my sophomore year.
Your sophomore year, okay.
Year.
I gotta say, I know you had some guys on there that were some dogs as well.
Yeah.
What was your role at that stage of you know, because I'm gonna get to your senior year where I really want to dive into stuff, but what was your role at that point?
My junior year, everybody, and it was predicted that Garen Morning was going to lead us. Albert Morning's brother.
Yeah.
Because he had such a phenomenal year that year before, everybody thought that he was going to be the one that take us over that hump with the help. But due to whatever, I don't really know. Garen kind of fell off, like missing school, like didn't come to practice too much. And coach kind of put the ball in my hand, more or less.
He did.
And again, we was juniors, again, a hungry group, and we wanted all that rep, you know.
Y'all did.
And the thing was, when he put the ball in my hand, I felt like it was in me. Like, I already know if we lose, they're gonna blame me. If we win, I'm gonna get the accolades. So I said in my mind, I was fine with that, right. But at the same time, I tell people all the time, I wish that I had Garen like he was the year before, because I really felt like we could have went really deep in the playoffs. I really felt like we could have did something. But because
you would have had y'all too and Rodney, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And then you got to think we had Rodney and James Jackson was just as big as Rodney. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
it sure was.
We wasn't full throttle like we should have been. Because if we was full throttle, you know what I'm saying, I believe we really could have made some noise in the playoffs. But because we was always, I can't even remember a game where we all played at the same time.
Same time, it
was like every game it was a different person in the starting lineup. It was like, what are we doing? Like, I think my junior year it got to the point where I was like, you know what, they don't care. I'm gonna get mine. But the fact of the matter is, I should have never took that approach, because they did care, but it was just the fact that at that time newspaper articles, like, we was big on it. Anybody get the paper? You know, who's in the paper?
Yeah.
You know,
so we didn't have social media, so
we didn't have social media, right? So the newspaper was everything to us. And I think because my name was missing a lot, it kind of separated us. Like, I always felt like me and Rodney could have been a lot better together, because that was a big and a guard, and we could have been a 1-2 punch. But that newspaper, man, it really separated us. Like, at some point, me and Rodney didn't even talk. Like, there was no conversation with us, like nothing. And we was the captains. You know what I mean?
No, was this your junior year, or was this the senior year too, where y'all didn't talk?
No, this is my junior year.
Okay. Just want to be clear.
This is where, because a lot of people don't know, Rodney went to varsity his freshman year. He didn't play much.
I didn't know that.
He didn't play much because they was still big at the time too when Rodney went up.
Yeah.
That's why I always felt like Rodney should have played a year on JV just to get some experience. But you know, when you young, coach tell you he wants you on varsity, you gonna go to varsity. You know what I mean?
You gonna go to varsity. Yeah, you gonna go to varsity. Yeah.
And I think because Rodney had that freshman year to junior year varsity, he felt like he should have been more important to the team than what they was giving me credit for. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of understood it. But when you young like that, now I understand it from where I'm at now. But when I was young, I'm like, man, I don't care nothing about that. I want to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me the ball. Like, I'm gonna get you a bucket. Like I don't care nothing about what Rodney feel. But at the same time, you know, we could have been much better as a team. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah.
And that year, talk a little bit. Y'all ended up, well, actually, before I get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. I remember, and I didn't put this together, man, honestly, until years later, because obviously I'm gonna get to when we play against each other the next year. Okay, but sticking to your junior year for a second, I remember I was a freshman, and I remember Easton playing Colonel in Colonel, and I remember saying, "My God, who is this 21? This is killing! Like every bucket and bucket, like yo, y'all going guard? Like who is this?" Because the game was close, y'all was going back and forth, and then Easton had went up. And then y'all made a run because, man, you had 29 that game. I don't know if you remember, but you had 29 that game. And then the other game at home, you had another good game. So you had like 27 that game. So you played good. So it wasn't until later on, and I don't even think it was when we played, I was like, oh, that was Fletch. That was Fletch doing that. So you had some great games, man, against Easton your junior year, and me as a freshman being able to watch that from the sidelines. But I also know that y'all had a pretty good year your junior year, but I know y'all ran into Andre Collins and Chris Field, if I'm not mistaken, in the play. Do you remember anything about that game, or just?
I'm gonna tell you that story, man. Listen, first of all, about the Eastern competition, and I tell people all this, and I say everywhere I go, Bunky was by far the best shooter I've seen in my time.
Man,
I'm not just pumping him up. That's my guy.
Oh, I know you're not. Yeah, I know you're not.
The reason why I was so hype about that game, because everybody felt like Bunky was better than me. And I really wanted to jump out on him. But the biggest problem I had was, if I guard Bunky, who was going to guard Suit? Like, we had nothing for Suit. Like, we had no answer for him. You know what I'm saying? No answer for him. So Bunky pretty much, I think Bunky that game had 41. A lot of people don't know, man, Bunky was a sniper. In that corner, I hated him. And I tried to ruffle his feathers, because I remember one time we got in each other's face, act like we was going to fight. We wasn't going to fight. That was all tough talk. We wasn't going to fight. We knew everybody was going to break us up, man. We wasn't going to fight, no. But it was just that hypeness of the game, you know what I'm saying? But let me tell you, but when it comes to Andre Collins, my sophomore year, I tell people this, and a lot of people don't know this, I got moved up. And Coach had said to me, we're going to put you on. We was going to run a boxing one. He told me he was going to put me on Andre Collins. Now, keep in mind, I didn't really know too much about Andre Collins at the time. I just knew his brother. I knew about his brother, Andy, from the stories I heard about him and Albert going at each other. So I didn't really know too much. I just know he could shoot. But they said, everybody used to say all the time, Andy's way better. You know, Andre can't do that. And I never forget it. We met up. And the first half, I thought I did really well. I think he had like 6 points, and I thought I did really well. I said, you know what? I'm young. I'm out here giving him work. You know what I'm saying? I had like 8 points that half. I felt good about myself. In that second half, I met a
he came out and said, okay.
I think he finished with like 39.
He did, on the nose. You're right on, 39.
He finished with 39. I tell people all the time, he didn't. Listen, it was a whole. I didn't know who I was playing in the second half, but I was I was okay with that, because I felt like the upperclassmen should have took that heat, because
for sure,
So him getting 39 on me, I was okay. You know what I'm saying? And of course, they made it look bad in the newspaper. They got him in there shooting, jump over top of me. Like, it looked real.
I always thought that.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, at the end of the day, Andre Collins was different, man. You know what I mean? He was different.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? He was different.
He was.
Yeah,
he was. And that's a good point too, because it's kind of the same for me. Like you said, we didn't have social media, so all you heard was the name. And the first time I seen him play was the Bayside game when they played Easton that year, my freshman year. You know, so like you said, that's all you could go by. You know what I mean?
That's all I could go by.
Yeah, he was a dog, man. He really was. He really was. But like you said, though, for you to take that heat, like, hey, I'll guard him. Y'all don't want to guard him? I'll guard him. You know, and I'm gonna do my best with him. Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is, see, the Andre Collins I know now, like, he talked, you know, a little trash here and there. He didn't say nothing the whole game. Like, he didn't say a word. Like, I was trying my best to get in the talking game with him. He didn't say a word. I mean, it was 3 after 3 after 3. Like, you know, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
And that's the thing with you, though, because if cats got into that back and forth you, everybody can do that. It was like Gary Payton. You gonna talk about the game.
I'm gonna talk. See, that's why I tell people all the time, I can talk and play. A lot of people can't play, and you know what I'm saying? They can't talk.
Yeah.
They can talk, but they can't play at the same time.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It is a difference. It is definitely a difference, because I didn't learn how to talk and play till after high school. You know what I mean? So like you said, sometimes you get that back. I get that back and forth with you. I'm mad, whole game going out my head. That's probably why I didn't play good against you the 2 times we ended up playing. But going to and I'm gonna get to that, because going to your senior year, you know, obviously I'm pretty sure, you know, you walking in your senior year pretty confident. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yes.
The year before, you averaged 21 and 10. It must be something about that number 21. I'm gonna get to that too. But you averaged 21 and 10. You made the second team as a junior. So you're going to see a senior pretty much like, hey, it's my team. You still got Rodney. You got Trey Creed. You got the other John. Your point
John
guard, the white boy John Rodnar. You know, so y'all had a solid core there. William Ellis, Terrell Butler. So y'all had a solid core. And you know, teams like us, we were young. North Dorchester was young. They were okay. It was really pretty much, you know, Colonel and Cambridge. We pretty much knew those were the 2 top teams that you had to kind of worry about. So what was just your mentality, you know, going into your senior year?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what hyped me up, because that 21 and 10 was supposed to be 26 and 10 my junior year. It was supposed to be 26 and 10, because I remember I went to coach and I asked him, because they took that picture that summer, and I asked coach, why did they put 21 and 10? He was like, that's a misprint. The 21 and 10.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a misprint, and people don't realize that. That's why I tell people, they be like, you didn't average that. They with the paper say, no, I got the book. If you want
I got the book.
right. You can count it up and average it yourself, but I got the book. And you know what I'm saying? It was a misprint. But going into my senior year, I really felt like that was our year to give Colonel what they didn't get. You know, a lot of people don't know, we done had a lot of talent come through Colonel, and we have yet to hold up a championship, state title. Like we done got there. You know what I'm saying? We done been there. We done, you know, got past the regional parts and all that, but we have never got to that state title. And let me say this before people get on here. Well, I felt like my senior year, I was robbed for Bayside Player of the Year. I really felt like that. You know, that was
I can see that.
You know,
they gave it award. They gave it award that year.
But I don't.
But I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
That's an argument me and Jawari still have to this day. But that's
that
is what it is. Yeah. But you know, my senior year, I came in, and I know people say, well, your points dropped to 21. Yeah, they dropped because I opened up to me being a 1-2 punch with Rodney. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we had young boys like Terrell Butler, my brother Jeremy. You know
Jeremy,
what I'm saying? William Ellis. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like now we had enough offense and defense that I'm not going to always be on the spot where I got to go a one-on-one, get a bucket. Like we was on fast breaks a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it was, you know, Trey, you know what I mean? Trey was probably the best outlet guy I ever threw the ball to in my life. I mean, he's always on the outlet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was.
So I felt like we was better going in our senior year. But I also knew that we didn't really know what to expect from the South. Because at that time, and they still doing it to the day, all the top fives and all that going to the same school. And that's why, look, I tell them all the time, man, Bubby and all that. I don't respect their championships just off the fact that
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, you got the 5 top players in the South on your team. Like, and they're not because y'all grew up in Waha together. It's they come from one school being the best player and they all got together. And we got through the senior year. We had a pretty good record. I think we was like 16-4, 17-3 or something like that. But we was all right. You know what I'm saying? 17-3. And when we got to the playoffs and we were sailing along, man, I remember we went to Kent County came out there. It was like, y'all not going to beat us this time. And we took Kent County lightly because we blew them out during the season. Yeah,
because y'all blew them out before, right?
Yeah, we blew them out through the season. We thought, you know, that first round, we're going to dog them.
Cakewalk.
But Kent County came out ready for everything.
They did.
I mean,
they did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up beating them or whatever the case may be. But that kind of, you know what I'm saying, that kind of woke us up, though. Like, yo, we can't take it lightly no more. We got to come out here and play hard. But I never forget it because I remember that we had to play Pocomo. And I looked across and I looked and I said, man, this is a whole nother I mean, they was huge, a whole nother team. And I never forget it. The guy, the coach from Pocomo at the time, he came to that game before. And he, like, literally after the game, he, like, straight up, good game, fella. You in for a dog fight when we see you, though. So I knew It was gonna be.
Yeah,
So I didn't know.
yeah,
I didn't know what to expect, but I knew it was gonna be a dogfight. And Kent
yeah,
County, man, they came out. They threw all kinds of bodies at me, man. And then
yeah.
I was so exhausted. As a matter of fact, I tell people all the time, they beat us by 50. People don't know that. My senior year, we got eliminated from Pokemon by 50.
Talking about Pokemon, right?
Pokemon
Yeah. I think y'all
50.
came out. William hit a 3. Y'all jumped out 3-0, and then from there they went on a 25. They went on a 25-0 run, and then it really was no coming back.
It was no coming back, man.
Back.
They literally took the life out of me. And when you're a leader, let's just be real. Everybody behind you is like, man, listen. Fletch not giving us nothing tonight. You know.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
I can't remember if Rodney was still hurt, or I don't even remember. But I know he had got hurt during the season in that Cambridge game. But
he did have an injury that game.
And I felt, people don't realize that though. I felt like I was going to be, my generation was the last one to actually give us hope to get a state title. Because at that time, looking behind, my brothers and all them, I just knew that our basketball, and if you look at it, if you look from the years, like my brothers on this left, Colonel basketball took big hits. Like we was the laughing stock at one point. Like, oh, don't worry about Colonel. That's a blowout game. We was almost the Kent counties and Queen Anne's of our time. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Things do, and it's funny you mentioned a couple of things. Is that first? It's funny you talk about the Waha thing. I was going to ask you about that because I remember you had a post on Facebook about that, about Waha getting on that talent, and I'm gonna talk. Bub will be on here next month, so I'm gonna make sure that we talk about that. But they do get a lot of talent. But this is the thing with the North compared to the South, is that the North, like if that was a happen, like here, because we when Gary came to us, our talker, it wasn't even he didn't even come to play ball or we weren't trying to recruit or nothing like that. But we still ended up losing games because people in the North, they care about that too much. People in the South, like you said, they go wherever, whether it's Snowhill, Pocomo, Waha, and then they don't care. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely get what you're saying. And then when you were mentioning Pocomo, they had one of their big guys was Todd Northam. He'll be on here next next month as well. Hey, so they were big. I remember playing him that year. Oh, he was bro. He don't get talked about enough, man. I remember playing them my sophomore year. The first play of the game, someone missed a shot, man. This dude come up there, two hands, boom. And I remember because we was on the foul line, and he was like, you played hey, you I remember playing. Yes, I was like, I said, you a senior, right? I'm thinking, man, big you got to be getting ready to get up out of here. Man, he was only a junior then.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Legit, so man, he was and legit.
That's why I tell people like Pooh Bear. Like no, we didn't. I didn't know them. Like them
didn't know. That's what I'm saying. Right. He wasn't playing it.
He wasn't getting no shine like that.
Pooh Bear, they didn't move him up till later his sophomore year because they had Ty, Javon Schofield.
That's what I told him.
Tony Toll.
And I wasn't trying to be smart. Now, don't get me wrong. Pooh Bear, when he came on the scene, he came big.
Oh, when he came. Woo, yes, sir.
But at that time. I didn't know that cat, man, because them boys was, you know what I'm saying? He got in at the end of the game when it was over. But during the game, he didn't get no burn. You're right. So I do want to get into these two Eastern Colonel games specifically real quick, and then we're gonna move on. Now the game at Eastern. Now mind you, we're a young team, I think we had one senior. So our first game we had lost to Bennett, should have beat them, we could barely score. Then we ended up playing Kent County, second game, beat them. So the third game of the year, we're playing y'all, we're 1-1. Y'all 1-1. Y'all beat Kent Island, y'all first game. Y'all lost another game. Can't remember who. I remember we lost to Pokemon.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So we're going in here kind of like the unknown, but I remember what gave us comfort was Candy came out and hit 3 straight threes. It was 9-0. and Merrill Morgan called a timeout. You remember that? Merrill called a timeout, right? So it's 9-0. So we like, Cabby come to play. Oh, we fired up. We get it in. So from there, after the timeout, that's when you kind of made your presence known. You come out, you score 8 in the first. So y'all kind of had y'all back and forth. And then it was a close game throughout, and y'all ended up winning by 3. I only had 7 that game. I didn't play good at all. What do you remember about that first? And kind of because you had to quote, you had to quote in the paper. You had to quote in the paper. He was like, they had a little zone. That's what was doing in the first half. He said they had a little zone. That's going in the first half. So he said, Coach told us to go to the high post. Let the high post go down. So what you remember about that first game against us, man?
Yo, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. The environment was so
it was crazy.
It was crazy, and like I tell people all the time, man, you almost got to calm yourself down in a game like that because you know the home team is going to come out like strong. And I think y'all kind of surprised us because like
I think so.
We felt like all the dogs was gone. Donkey was gone.
Yeah.
Suit was gone.
Suit was gone.
Like, and we had dog fights with them with the same team pretty much. So we knew felt like, we're gonna beat them. But then them young shooters, man, I tell people all the time, one thing I say about Eastern, they produce shooters and good guards. I'm telling you, man. Y'all keep some shooters. And I think that woke us up, but man, I forgot. I think his name was Potter that was at the he was y'all center. I can't remember his name.
You talking about if he was our center, you're probably talking about you talking about Chris Barnett.
It might have been him. So what happened was, I don't know why. I don't listen. That's no lie. Until after that game, Coach never took me out of the high post again. Like literally, the high post became my position.
I believe it. I believe it.
For some reason, Coach put me in the high post. He must saw something I didn't see because I kept I was at the time. I was like, why am I going to the high post, Coach? Like I want to be on the wing. He was like, no, go to the high post.
Not to cut you off. I want you to finish, but that's a great point you made because I tell you why. The first half we kind of had you know Ronnie got his. I know you had the first quarter. You had like 8 and 5. But and this is how, and look, you'll laugh at this. This is how I know you was a man because you shot 4 for 13. So you shot 13 times because you could. You know what I'm saying? Because that was your team. So but like you said, so then the second half, we up 2 at the half. So we like, all right, we stood the run, we up 2, but then he put you at the high post and go ahead and take her from there. What you did at the high post.
Man, listen, when he put me at the high post, I was mad. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was hot.
Was you really?
Want to play. I was mad. I was like, Coach, like you can't stop me on the drive. But Coach, he just kept saying, like, it doesn't matter. The help is there. Like you and at that time, I wasn't driving and kicking. I was more or less trying to get a bucket. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So what Coach did, I never forget, he put William Ellis on the wing. And then he put me at the high post. And that's when it kind of opened up. And then it turned into a real one-on-one game. And that's what kind of made it real easy for me to score. And that's what, look, ever since from that game on, I never complained about being the high post. I played the high post the whole season, yo.
That's funny. That's funny. And it was good games, man. And it's crazy because so everybody is listening. So you finished that game with 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists.
I got that article too.
Great game. Did you see the picture I put up? I know you got as I put that up.
I said, why would he put that picture up?
I ain't got the other one yet. Even though you stand there like you were still, you know, it's a good picture, man. You know what I'm saying?
My wide open. I said, look at this craziness, man. Look at this craziness.
So that was good. So then fast forward to going to Colonel. And I'll tell you this to this day, I hate playing in Colonel. Man, I probably I don't know what it was about playing in Colonel. I probably had 2 decent games in Colonel. I had a good game against Colonel, but decent games for what I say, you know how it is. Some of our games, if it's 13 points, that's decent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was something about playing in Colonel that could never do so. So everybody knows. So when we go to Colonel, we know that we can play with y'all, okay? Because it was only a 3-point game. So we're like, all right, we can play with them. So this game, and this is the genius of Merrill Morgan. Cabby, it was back and forth first half, second quarter, or first quarter. So the second quarter, Cabby hits back-to-back threes on one wing. I get it because I was shooting threes, and then I hit a 3 on the second. So we up 21-19. Never forget, about 5 some minutes left. Merrill Morgan goes to a triangle and 2. So against Cabby, in the first game, it was to a box and 1. Second game, this man goes to a triangle 2. Fletch, I ain't never seen a triangle 2 in my life. And our coach, I love our coach, but he didn't know, you know, we had Buck Miller, love Buck Miller, but we didn't know what to do with it. So that was it. So we still ended up making the game. Actually, I had a shot to win it 25, but I had to heave it at the end, and we lost by 3. So it was a good game, and I had a better game than the first one, but still wasn't a good game. But man, that triangle 2, bro, couldn't do nothing with it, yo.
You want to know who brought the triangle 2? People don't even realize this.
Yeah.
Bunky. We was
Oh
introduced.
yeah, because the year before, you're right. You're right. Because
yep.
I remember reading about that. Yup.
I have never, and I tell people this. I can't even remember a time we played Triangle 2 against any other team but Easton and Ken Island for some reason. Coach always played against Ken Island and Easton. I don't know. Those others. Other than that, we was always known for our 2-3 zone. And let me be clear, I hated the 2-3 zone because I felt like it hit us from being responsible for your man. Get your man.
No, I got you.
You
Yeah. You was man to man. Yeah. That's from that dirt court background, man. You want man to man. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, man, that Triangle 2, and I never forget he called it. And that's why I tell people all the time that I think Mr. Morgan, his mind was a lot advanced than a lot of people because he knew how to adapt. Even though he was soft spoken, he wasn't a rah-rah coach, but he was during the game.
His nose, man.
Yeah, during the game, he's doing stuff that you like. To you, it looked like, Coach, that's stupid. Like, why are we doing that? And trust me, we definitely express how we felt when he called certain things. Like, no, that's dumb. Why are we doing that? Blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, Coach had Tom Coursey as his assistant. And if Coach says something, Tom, you wasn't going to keep going all that. Because Tom puts you in your place. Yeah, Tom. And our respect for Tom was a little bit more than Morgan because we felt like Tom really taught us and prepared us for varsity. You know what I'm saying? Even though we respect Mr. Morgan, and to this day we respect Mr. Morgan, but Tom was that voice that kept us in line. Like, don't get above yourself. Like, I'll still sit you on this bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still sit you down. Yeah.
And so that's why I'm telling people, when we played, you could never predict, oh, Colonel gonna get that by. Yeah, Colonel got this game, or Issa got this game.
Couldn't predict it back there, man.
The rivalry was so good.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't play well, you was gonna lose. Bad. You know what I'm
saying?
And
we talk about that all the time. Yeah, man, you talked about that separately. Like when you had a good game or a bad game back then, people knew. And like there wasn't no social media, but people knew. And you made a great point because y'all was obviously the better team than us. But when it came to that rivalry, you get up for that rivalry.
You get up for that.
So even though we don't, we get up for that. Yeah, we get up for that rivalry.
And we had the experience. So
y'all did.
That's why I tell people.
And in the fourth quarter, it showed for y'all. Yeah,
we had the experience. So a lot of stuff we was able to get past because we had to endure it when we was y'all. Where y'all was where we was. So we learned how to get over it. That, you know what I mean? In full quarter time took us that we were smarter than y'all when it came to certain things. But man, it was those were the days, man. Those was the days.
And those were the days. And it's funny because again, now we played you better in Colonel. You had 17 and 12. So you had a solid game, but for you, it was a little lower. But you still was close to your average. But it was still, Ronnie was on the glass, and I think Trey had a good game that game. I think William hit a timely shot. So that's just how it was. But it was a great, like you said, great battle, man. And then for that year, I mean, some numbers you put up, you had 31-10 against Kent County. You had 22, I think both times against Kent Island. North Carolina, you had 22. Talk a little bit about 2 games before we move on from high school. I want to hear about, because I apologize if anybody from North Carolina is listening, because I should have said y'all North Carolina, because they were up there too that year, because they had Brandon Felder,
yes sir,
Donis Anderson, Big Janey, you know what I mean? So it was Eastern Kansas was a rivalry that we know about here, but I always hear about Colonel North Carolina rivalry too. Was it a real rivalry with y'all then, or was it just because of the Carolina County? But let's talk a little bit about that rivalry a little bit.
My junior year, it wasn't a rivalry. We just beat them. Like, it wasn't
just beat them,
But that second year, they were a different team. They had Adonis.
Yeah, they were.
Brandon Jackson, LZ at the time. But LZ was a junior.
Brandon Felder.
Brandon Felder.
Yeah, Brandon Felder.
I think now the first game they played us at our house. Perry played man-to-man. And I think that's where he realized he shouldn't have never done that. Because like man-to-man, none of them could stay in front of me.
They won't stay in front of you.
And once and that's what I tell people, like, I wasn't a shooter like a Bonky but if I was hitting my jumper.
But you could hit.
Exactly. So if I was
You keep you
shooting
honest.
well,
Yep.
it was going to be a problem the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by the time I got in a good rhythm, like it was too late for Perry to back his men off. But in the second game, I tell people in the second game, it was a different team because Perry now knew he couldn't play me man to man. So like they played like a 1-2-2 full court press the whole game. And I think they had me to like, I think it was like 12, 13 points that game or something like that. Like they didn't dog us, but they beat us. You know what I'm saying?
They beat y'all. Yeah.
But we also knew we wasn't gonna see them no more because that's when they kind of went to that like that 2A. I think they got
they
switched over to
2A. Y'all stay
one.
one. Y'all stay 1A. Y'all they came 2A. Yeah.
Yeah, but they
and then
was
what
really
about
good.
Yeah, they were a good team. That was another team that and I think I missed them in there, but we lost to them as well, but it was a close game. So that was like another game that we said, okay, we're not as good, but we we can play with them boys. So we kind of play with them too. But talk a little bit about because I know that y'all felt like y'all could be at the top, and I know Cambridge ended up beating y'all out, but I know y'all. I'm looking at one stat sheet where they beat y'all by 5. You had 15, so probably not a big enough game that you wanted to have. But just talk about those 2 games that y'all played Cambridge and how they were.
Let me just say this. People don't realize my senior year, both times, I think the first game we played Cambridge, Rodney got hurt. Either the first quarter or second quarter. I'm not for sure when it was. The second game when we played in Cambridge, I only think Rodney played.
Yeah, I don't think he played that game for some reason.
2 or 3 minutes. If he played, it was like 2 or 3 minutes because I ended up guarding Jawari that whole game.
Yeah, that's
it was bad. Like that's why I tell people a lot of times. Yeah, I couldn't, just off the fact that Ward was so tall, he literally was turning around and it would just, you know what I'm saying?
And I had to guard him too my sophomore year, so I know.
Yeah, so
and
you know
I
how
had no
it
business
is,
guard him, man. I had no business guard him.
Yeah, we didn't have no big that could keep him occupied because I felt like nobody else on the team could really do nothing with us. Mo and all them, and Mo my guy, but I tell Mo to this day, like Mo knew he couldn't guard. That's why Mo didn't guard me. Coach used to put this Malcolm on me. I don't know if you remember Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm Baxter. Yeah.
Malcolm Baxter. Malcolm Baxter used to guard me. Mo never guarded me because there was just some
they try to put more length on you.
And I will admit Malcolm made it a little difficult for me to get off. As far as layups, drive passes. It was so long. You know what I'm saying?
It was long. So long. Yeah.
But like far as like if I had Rodney full 100%. In those games, we would have beat Cambridge. But
that's real. That's why I tell you, real sports fan podcast. You hear it from Fletch.
Yeah, we would have beat them straight up. If I'd have had Rodney 100%, played the whole game, we'd have beat them. Think about it. We didn't have Rodney, and they was beating us by 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, no, y'all supposed to dog us. Not.
Yeah, right
nah. And I fuss with them all the time about that. Like. I'm not taking the win away from y'all. I'm not taking the win away from y'all because at the end of the day, y'all won the game. But if I had my big like y'all had y'all, because listen, as soon as Rodney went out of the game, like the coach straight up told him, we're not doing nothing but giving the ball to Jawari. Like he got the ball every possession, seemed like But
you're right. You're right because I'm looking at it right here, and that's definitely what happened. It was still a close game. So
it was close game,
right.
man. That's why I tell you, if I had my big, they couldn't. It was good. They couldn't with us.
Yeah, yeah. And I can remember you at the base. I don't know why I remember this stick out to me. But I remember at the Bayside game, Cambridge made it, so they ended up playing. Was it Waha that year?
No,
Snow Hill. I think it was Waha. Snow Hill. Yeah, Snow Hill. Snow Hill. Yeah, Tony Harmon and them. Yep. Yeah. And I can remember you from because you sat maybe a little ways from me. I can remember you. Come on, like War. Come on, man. Don't go on him, man. I mean, because and I can just imagine you in that setting because I do think y'all had a real good team that year, and I could see y'all matching up with the Snow Hill. Yeah. So it could have been a little bit different. But
what's crazy? I had begged my mom. I was begging my mom because I wanted to leave Colonel.
Oh, really?
Because at one point it got to the point where some of the players that was on our team, their parents was coming to me before games, like, get a ball up. Like, we can't win with you.
What?
Yeah, man. I tell you, listen, people don't realize, and I'm not saying this. Listen, I love my town, but the Fletcher hate was real. The Fletcher hate was real, man. The Fletcher hate was real. Like, and I remember
that's crazy.
I played AAU or something like the year before, and I remember Mo, because see, people don't know me and Mo is cousins.
Oh, okay.
And he used to say all the time, "Look, Fletch, come to Cambridge." I wanted to come to Cambridge so bad, and I knew if I went to Cambridge, it would have been stupid. You know what I'm saying? It would have been crazy, man. I wanted to go so bad. It would have been crazy. But my mom and dad, nah, they shot that down. Like,
yeah, they would have it.
That's not. And you know that time Cambridge was a little. It was a little rougher than it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was different. It was a little bit different. It was a little bit different.
They wasn't having that. But yeah, man, I had a lot of like people coming to me and was like, "Yo, you need to get a ball." Like, it was crazy. Now keep in mind,
that's crazy. I can't believe that.
Nobody came to me when we won, and we won a lot. But when we lose, man, let me tell you, like it was to the point where Coach would call me down and like we having meetings. Like he talking to me about how I feel and stuff. Like, I'm like, Coach, what are we talking about? But at the same time, I wanted to get that persona like, Coach, I'm good. But at the same time, Coach knew mentally I wasn't really.
Yeah.
So it was crazy,
and
man.
you don't have to. And the thing about it is that you don't have to say this, even though I know you don't care what I said for you. Is that me personally? You were supposed to score and shoot the shot you shot because as the wing, you were the main scorer, and to me, it was nobody else that could do what you did.
Yes.
You know, so you had the 1-2 punch inside outside. All the other guys are role players. You know what I mean?
And people don't understand, man. Even though I had that role of being the offensive guy, I didn't duck the best.
Your defense was solid. No, you were. Thank you. Yeah.
I want the best.
Yeah. You played D.
I'm not playing. I don't want to guard no two-tier guy. Put me on the best player.
Yeah, you played D.
You know what I'm saying? If they get out on me, get out on me. That's what I tell people all the time. And that's why I felt like Bonky was robbed for Player of the Year one year.
Oh, man, he should have got that his senior year. There's no way Carter should have got over him.
Listen, he was a whole nother guy. And listen, I tell people all the time, I seen him 4 or 5 straight 40-point games. And some games he didn't even he wasn't even playing, just out there stroking. You know what I mean? Like,
you know, just running, catch, like it was like he had the wild, like
and that's why I feel like they gave Jawari the senior year MVP. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of pick who they like already, basically.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I say that all the time. The beginning, if you look at the last 20 years of the base side, beginning of the year, you can already kind of sense who they're trying to push.
Who they want to push.
For the award. Yeah.
And you wouldn't think that
because
it's high school. You wouldn't think that because it's high school. I know. But, man, it's politics all over.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. But you did have a great, senior year. You averaged 21 and 10. Your senior year made first team. And just so people know, and this for the young people who, I seen the video, you playing your nephew, that y'all playing 1-on-1, and you spotted him foul. So for all the young guys who might didn't get to see Fletch in his prime and stuff like that, it's hard to compare your game. But the person that sticks out to me, I guess maybe because I was just listening to Nick Van Exel talk about was like an Eddie Jones type as far as you played D, and then you could stroke the three. But what I liked about you, and maybe I got that high post, and maybe that's why I went to the high post following you, because I got that high post. Man, you would hit you with that pump fake, and then what I liked about you, especially as a sophomore, you was going and such a sophomore because you had a sweet left hand. Like I never seen a person like drive to the buck. Some people when they're on the left side they still use the right hand, but man, you will always have right in the left hand. It was just so smooth. You know what I'm saying? So that's what always stuck out to me, real talk.
I'm gonna tell you what happened to me that made me start using my left hand. I broke my wrist on my right hand. And
oh wow! Okay.
I couldn't do nothing with my right hand because they had the cast. Literally, my fingers, everything was covered up.
Oh wow!
And I wanted to play so bad. I'll never forget it. William Parker called me and was like, "Yo, you duck and wreck," and I'm like, "I can't play. I got one hand." Man,
oh yeah, I did see where you broke. Was that the last game of the season? Was that the last game of the season you broke?
Yep.
Yeah, I did read that. I forgot about that.
Said, I broke my. He's like, man, you duck and wreck. Come on, man. And listen, people don't realize I got to the point where I cut it where I could use my fingers, but my wrist was still coming up.
Wow.
And I wanted to play so bad, but mom gave me the okay. Dad was like, all right.
Yeah.
And William Parker, man, we used to be in that gym for hours of him pushing me left so I could use my left hand. And it got to the point where I got so good at using my left hand, I was using it more than I was using my right hand. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that makes sense now that you tell that story.
Yeah, I credit William Parker for that. I'll never forget that. He would not let nobody call me out, like, go get that. You know what I mean? So he the one pushing me into working hard on my left hand. William Parker. I'll never forget that. Him.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. And I didn't know, and before we got out of high school and get to something else, and I told you before we got on, I didn't know you played football as well. Until I started researching things, and I see you running for 160-some yards and a 49-yard run, a 12-yard run, and 2 touchdowns. So talk a little bit, man, about football, because that's toughness right there still, too.
That was a high school bet. There was a guy named Darcy Nichols who was a football, I mean, he was a dog.
Oh, okay.
And everybody kept saying he was faster than me. And at first I didn't even care, because I felt like at that time basketball was gonna be my everything. I don't even care. Like I don't care who playing football. But I never forget it. I was Marcus Lake, Darcy Nichols, Rodney. Like everybody kept like, you ain't faster than Darcy. You not the best athlete in our class. You know, and I literally in the middle of the season was like, I'm gonna go ahead and go out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just gonna go just to prove wrong.
Just to prove wrong. Like it wasn't even off no. I want to prove that I'm faster than him. Like not saying I'm the better football player. I just want to prove that I'm faster than him with a football. Man, I don't know. I must have had one heck of a practice, because the next game I was starting. I started and I had that game. But this is the craziest part. The next game I got hurt. And I never forget it. Merle Morgan ran out on the football field and was like, don't go back out there.
No.
Yes.
Wow. Yo, that's crazy.
Yes, my old arm is swell up. And all I kept, you know what I mean? I see people talking like, you all right, Fletch? You all right, Fletch? And next thing you know, I look behind me, it's coach standing there. You don't need to go back out there.
Wow. That's crazy.
And that was the end of my football career.
Literally, that's crazy. Hey, you can't blame Merle Morgan for that. Hey, that's my number one guy. Come on over here.
He was already hot, because I told him I was gonna play, and he kept saying, no, it's the end of the season. No, don't worry about it. I'm like, Coach, they saying, look, I gotta prove this, and I never forget it. My dad was like, when you start playing football, but my dad also knew. We didn't duck no, like, you're not gonna call us out. Like, if you want us to come, we coming. And man, I did it that game. I think I had like 2 or 3 touchdowns that game or something like that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
And that next game I got hurt like the first and second quarter. Nah, I never went back in the game. I never played football again.
That's what's up. I got a couple questions here on the thing. Let me set a couple people straight, because I don't think y'all on the right time. I got my boy Jay Carter talking about North Dorchester. Now North Dorchester, Jay, we talking about 2000, 2001 year.
Yeah,
Carter was gone, Jay. Y'all was gone.
They was gone.
Yeah.
They was gone.
Yeah, they was gone. Y'all wasn't good that year. I never lost to North Dorchester in my career, and every year they had a solid team. I never lost to North Dorchester.
After my sophomore year, I never lost to North Dorchester again.
I never lost to them.
Freshman year on JV, I didn't lose to them. My 11th and 12th grade year, I didn't lose to them. Now, my sophomore year, I think they won a championship that year.
Yeah. So they were solid. Right. They were the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, They was like that.
Yeah. That's what that is. Yeah, you still on here, and then Boot, you talking about? I think you talking about our senior year now, bro. You talking about Cambridge and Snow Hill, the buzzer beater when Tony Harmon hit the.
That was a senior.
You talking about Tony Harmon hit the. Yeah. You talking about Tony Harmon hit the game winner? I remember that.
And he's right though. But he's right though, because I felt like they got cheated too. I felt like
I heard about that. I wasn't there, but I heard. Yeah, I did hear that though. I did hear that they got cheated though.
The clock got. But see, that's one thing I've been an advocate for too. Like I've been like, because you know, ever since I've been coaching, whatever, not to move ahead too much, but since I've been coaching,
no, you good.
We have these basketball where all the coaches come together and have a meeting. And let me just be clear when I say this. I don't fool with Butch Wilder. I can't stand it. I know people love him. I don't. I don't.
Really? Is it just an interaction y'all had, or just?
Because he feel like it's all about him. You feel what I'm saying? He feel like it's all about him. And at the end of the day, I always felt like, why does the North always got to come to the South?
Got to come to the South. We always said, me and my wife always talk about that.
And then when you look at the referees, they're from the South. They're
all
not even
South.
north.
Yeah.
It's not even an in between.
Yeah.
It's the South and the North
Yeah.
that's officiating games.
At least have a couple North
Right.
refs if we got to go to the South
Right.
to go there. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
So
I think one year
they
they had it in Cambridge. One year Kent County played Steve Decatur a couple years back, but that's the only time I remember.
Yeah, but
you know,
listen what you just said though. They play Stephen Decatur.
Mm-hmm.
Let them have people play Wahai or somebody.
Yeah.
It would have never happened. They would have never Butch Waller would have never let that happen. And that's why I say, don't get me wrong, he probably done got to that point where he earned that respect, where he could speak his, his mind, and you gotta honor him. But at the end of the day, respecting him and doing what's best for the kids, I think what's best for the kids should be more important than how Butch feel.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah, I feel you on that. I don't
rock with him.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Now, before I move to some other things outside of sports, and we are going to touch into some NBA. Again, I appreciate everybody listening to Real Sports Fan Podcast. We here live with Fletch. We're going to try to get him out here about another half hour, if not sooner than that. But I appreciate everybody listening and tuning in. I got to ask this question because, see, I played against you and Joey. Okay, when I was a sophomore, you was a senior. Then when I was a senior, Joey was a sophomore. So that's what's so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Joey came as a sophomore, was good. Then you got people like my cousin Bryce and LT always tell me how much of a dog Joey was. 11th circuit, and I always say I know Joey's a dog, but y'all didn't see John play. We just called you John. Y'all didn't see John play either, though, did y'all? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ask you, and I know y'all compare nature. But you and Joey, man, who was the better Fletcher, man? Just high school careers. Who was the better Fletcher, man?
I would say based on the talent, I was better than my brother. Based on the talent, because
I went with you. Yeah.
If you take Easton, Cambridge, North High at the time, and who else? Easton, Cambridge, North High, and us. Just those 4 teams. When my brother and them played, it was really nobody else really that good, But when we played, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it was a lot of teams. It was more teams. It was more competitive teams.
It was a lot of teams. And see, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 games they played in the South, but people don't realize when we was in high school, we had like 6 games in the South. Like we was playing like 6 or 7 games in the South. We didn't even play.
Have more.
Yeah, we had a lot of South games, you know what I'm saying? So the competition was always there. But I will say this, as far as scoring ability, I think my brother had the package because he could shoot it.
Yeah, he did. He had the package. He did.
And he can really jump out the gym at that time.
Hey, you know what's funny? Before you say, I remember, right? God, this just came back. I think Gary on here too. Gary, you can comment. I remember our senior year. We went to Colonel because the first game at home, we played them 3 games that year because. We also played y'all in the North we tried the Carolina Invitational.
Yeah.
Tournament. Because I remember I seen your stats in that one too. But anyway, and I remember halftime when we went to Colonel, our coach was like, "Who's gonna guard the Fletcher?" And I think me and Garrett's like, "Yeah," because he's a sophomore, he's dogging us. So I think he dropped maybe like 10 or 12 in the first half that year. So like you said, y'all both, man, y'all games are both there. Right. But I just was trying to tell the younger people, like, I don't think y'all remember John because he was a dog, but both of y'all were great players. But see, you got to
think too, around my brother time, social media kind of started picking up a little bit.
Started to come up. Yeah.
So they always talk. Yeah. During our time, like, you didn't really know who won till the next day based off, or if you watched the 11 o'clock news, you know what I mean? You watch the news or something like that. But I think, I mean, if you put us, and I tell people this, people don't even know this too. Like, my brother finished with his 1,000+, right? I got 991. And I was suspended like 7 games.
What? No, you know what? No, you know what? Hold on. Stop the presses for a second.
Play.
Stop the presses for a second. Now, I think you're the second person that's come on here. Who was the first person that came on here? No. You know what it was? War. So you had 991. I think War said he had like 980 some. I had like 970 some. So, and I used to get mad to this day. I'll never get mad again because you had 991 and you missed up. 991. So that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I tell people. So that's like people will be like, when it, like the young boys say now.
Yeah, people throw that out a lot. They throw that 1,000 out a lot now. I mean,
where your name at? Yeah, they always say where your name at. I just tell them all this. When you see my brother's name, you see my name. Anytime you see a Fletch name up there, it's our name.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah, that's real though, for sure, man.
But yeah,
for
man,
sure,
for
sure.
That's another thing too. I regret in high school. I was suspended a lot because at the time people don't realize, like, me and my brother Jeremy, we played together 1 year, 2 years, and man, we didn't duck no, like, it is what it is.
Y'all didn't.
Like, so a lot of times it's not that we, the person at the time, I think it was like Brian Spring, I think that was his name. Like, we stayed in some. You gotta sit a game. You gotta sit a half. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow!
I remember one time at the North High Invitation, my brother and I was playing some Dover. I think it was Dover at the time. And man, it got so heated in that gym, yo. Like, everybody was on the floor ready to fight. And to this day, like, we look back at it, it was like, God, man, we was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we could take back that and just play ball, like, me and my brother would have had a lot. Because people don't know, like, my brother Jeremy, that's underneath of me, he started with me my senior year. He was a junior starting.
Yeah,
but
he was.
People don't realize
he stayed
in. My brother used to tell me all the time, you don't worry about the fighting. I'll do that. So, like, when my brother would get.
He wasn't Adonis Haslam on the team.
Yeah. And he would get right, the technical fouls I should be getting, he would get them. He would get them. Like, he would go up to a boy.
That was smart.
Like, I see my brother at Ken Island literally get off the bench and go check somebody. Like, like, we got literally a whole technical foul. We in a dog fight. Like, what you doing? It was like, nah, we can win the game with you out there. But I'm good if I'm not out there. So I was like, you know what I mean? If my brother didn't get suspended like he did, I think we would have been really good together, because, like, me and my brother was defensive dogs. Like, coach put us on the wings. We guarded the 2 best wing players in the game.
Long. They always both long. Now I gotta ask this story. Man, that you talk about your brother getting the best. Now my wife said, she went to Queen Anne's, and she was saying there was an incident. I don't know if you remember, it was an incident with I think it was Shania, one of the girls.
Yes.
That was on the team, and she got into it with one of y'all, and I don't know.
She hit me.
One of y'all.
She smacked
it was
me.
You.
Yes. It was you. You know what's so crazy though?
I said it's probably John.
But check this out though. They had a girl. It was a girls' game. Like, that's when the triple hitters really start happening. They started doing
man, and Colonel and Queen Anne girls was always good. So
it was at that time. It was a little big.
Triple hitters was dope. Yeah.
So I'm over there. I'm cheering my team on. I'm like, yo, she weak. Go ahead, get her. She can't do this. Man, half time, Shorty came over there. I think she Gravy talk a little trash. Man, she walked over there and smacked. All I know is, man, I see. Look, the crazy part about it is I hadn't even moved. Everybody grabbed me. I threw me on the floor. I'm like, wait a minute. She hit me. Oh,
man. Yeah, right.
She hit me. What y'all grabbed me for? So, man. But the crazy thing is, man, I know her. Man. I know her now because her son played ball for, like, the middle school team or whatever. He's in high school now.
Yeah,
so,
high school now, yeah.
Yeah, like she.
Y'all can laugh at it now. Y'all laugh about it now. Yeah. I thought she said, you gotta ask her now. I said, and I remember.
Funny,
so
man.
that's what's up. Yeah, that is, man. That is. But yeah, those triple hits are good.
I still get teased about that.
But that's the thing though, like you said though, because and I'm going back, and I know we said we gonna get off ball, but you just made me think, because I've got a tape when we played Colonel my senior year. And man, you and I think Lonnie and a bunch of people, y'all were on the sidelines. Y'all were going at it, saying everything. And so my point is that when we played against each other, we didn't like each other because it was that competitive nature. It was that trash talk.
Yes.
It was all that type of stuff. So if you didn't know how to handle your emotions, like you said, y'all get under people's skin to the point where you not ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it's comical now, man, like looking back.
When we used to go to games, there was no communication with us. Like, we did not talk. You know what I'm saying? I said when people would come, like, you go to a visiting school or something, like if the visiting team, soon they got up to go in that locker room to get dressed, you was getting booed all the way to the locker room. And I was telling like, man,
all the way.
Said,
all the way. That was
y'all. Yeah, y'all sit with each other. Y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all sit. Yeah. Man, we didn't do that, man.
Nah,
it was
we didn't do that.
One team on one side, another team on the other side.
Yeah.
I tell people, like, people don't know, like, man, true. Like, all the guys I play with, I'm still cool with to this day. But we understood that basketball, it was go at each other. Like, we weren't friends until that whistle.
We didn't like each other when we played,
Till that horn went off. And after that, then everything was good. But during that
Yep.
game,
Yep.
I ain't like it.
Yep. Yep. That's how it was with us, man. That's how it was. And I don't know if you seen Drake comment about Butch Wilder, but he did say he's a commissioner of the Bayside. He said whatever Butch say goes. So that's what he said. Right. He understand. Yeah,
he understand
right.
where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, man.
Yeah, that's how it be. So cool. So let's get into a couple more things, man, before I get you out of here, man. A couple quick hitter things. But like I was saying to you before we went live, is that one thing I respect about you, man, is that you know, some people just put stuff on Facebook to put it, but one thing about you always put something. It might get people's attention, but you can always back it up. You know, you don't run from the wreck, as some people say. So there's a bunch of stuff I could have pulled. I just had time. I just pulled a couple of things that you had posted recently, man, and I just want to get into it. The one I was reading here, it was about 6 days ago, where you had said, and I completely agree with you, is that you really want pastors, apostles, elders, etc., to come together as a body and prepare for the future. So much confusion amongst the sheep, and we need of what we need, and that should be the concern. Could you elaborate on that? Because I completely agree. Is that I do feel like, I mean, even, and I'll just take Easton for a point. We got so many churches in Easton. You know, they're doing this thing, they're doing this, they're doing that, but we all don't come together for the general good, for the community. Like I feel, and this is Lance saying this, and for everybody listening. For, you know, y'all can quote me. You know, for the community, I don't feel like we do that. So could you elaborate kind of on, you know, just the church come together, the body of people come together, all the past, you know, just elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, the gist behind my comment was that I've seen, because and people know that if you've been watching, I grew up in the church. My grandfather's a bishop, my father's an elder. At one point in time, I became a minister, different things of that nature. Though I went astray a long time.
Me too, brother.
I'm back on that road of trying to be what I'm called to be. You know, I tell people all the time, there's people who are designed for the actions of, you know, protesting and whatever. You know, you got Farrakhan. People are designed for what they're designed
about different roles.
Exactly. And I know what God called me to be. Though I stray, and I make mistakes. I tell people all the time, nobody's perfect. But at the end of the day, I don't want our generation of leaders to fall in the pathway of what we've seen all our lives. Everybody's on an island, and the only time we can show love is through death. And how many times do we got to see people die before leaders come together and actually really bring us together under one sound, one doctrine? You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, the sheep are confused because there's so many doctrines out there. And to back this up by scripture, because I know people will say, well, what the Bible said. Well, 1 Corinthians tells us, he said that we should speak the same thing, mind the same thing, and have the same judgment. So if you over here saying something different and I'm saying something different, the only people confused is the ones that we're leading. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the natural state of, even in the natural world, why is the world so in chaos and confusion? Is because the leadership of this country is confusing us. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to COVID-19. Those people are taking it serious. Some people are saying, well, we don't know what to believe because those who supposed to be leading us are saying different things. And if you look and if you look at the spiritual world, I guarantee you can't get 10 preachers right now to agree on the same thing. And the same, you can't, and because it's a spirit of pride, it's a spirit of arrogance, it's a spirit of know-it-all, and I hate to say it, but theology school for some people has become a curse. Because now,
oh man, say that again, man. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that theology school. I am. No, not to anybody, but
but I'm not. Please don't misunderstand me when I say education is not important. But what I'm saying is, we are being taught to a certain degree that is totally different from what the Bible is saying. Like they teach you something and you have to confound to that. But when it comes to what is the Bible really saying concerning certain issue, we are confused because you saying one thing, but your theology books are saying another. And believe it or not, we are prone to believe the theology school more than God because we feel like they got the revelation of something that they really don't have the revelation. And the church is confused.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll just add that everybody that went to theology school was not called to be a preacher.
Yes.
Okay. You know, there's you know, I tell people all the time, man, that preaching, you know, people see that and that's the thing, you on the pulpit, and people see that,
Yep.
but you still need people to drive the vans, to clean the
That's
church,
right.
to
That's right.
usher, to
Yeah.
do all that stuff that a lot of people don't do, that people don't see, you know,
Yeah.
as well. You know, you can serve God in many ways. Like you said, you know, everybody's called differently, you know. So,
And yeah, and
so
then,
that
then
was just
another
one
thing
thing to
too.
pick up.
Yeah, then another thing too. We look at people that's called by God based on what they got.
Yep.
Listen,
Yep.
some of the best influence I got is from the most humbling people are just happy to have a
Yep.
car, a house.
Yep.
They
That's
healthy,
it.
they living,
Yep. That's it.
and they're
Yep.
happy to have just a little bit. We feel like if they got 10 houses and 5 cars
Mm-hmm.
and they this, because
Mm-hmm.
what's happened now is we, like the Bible says, I believe it's Matthew 6:33. He says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his
Seek ye first the
righteousness,
kingdom. Yep. That's it.
and all these things will be added unto you." But the thing is, we getting these things, but we're not righteous.
Not righteous.
And I
So
I know people don't want to believe this, and I know people think I'm crazy because they feel like they'll quote that scripture, "Well, the tree is known by the fruit that it bear." We don't realize the Bible says He reign on the just as well as the unjust.
And the unjust.
And karma is if I do something, I reap the benefit, or the other side of it, the negative. There's
or
a
the other
positive
side
side
of
and
it.
a negative
That's
side,
right.
So when we do stuff, we can't automatically assume that God's with us because you got a car. What
Because
that
you got a
mean?
car. That's right.
You got a nice
That's
car
right.
on your way to hell.
Yep, that's right. That's real, man. That's why I wanted to get your perspective on that, because, like you said, it has nothing to do with those material things. But sometimes we do see those things of what they got, and we wonder this, that, and the third. But I agree with you that it is a time, especially now, that more people unite and come together, you know, and then for things like that. So I agree.
The sad part about it, this pandemic, we should have woke up and realized we don't have God like we think we do.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm glad you segue, because my apostle preached yesterday, and one thing that you posted not too long ago was about healing the land. Like, we can heal the land, but guess what? You got to turn from sin. Like we forget that we pray about healing the land, but we don't turn away.
We don't turn away.
So just talk. Go ahead if you want to elaborate.
If we think about that, the scripture says, I believe it's 2 Chronicles 7:14. He said, "If my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves." Are we look at what's going on? Yeah, look at what's going on. In turn, that we don't realize that though. And then I tell people all the time this: it's a whole lot of people speaking in tongues, right? I'm gonna give you a prime example, right? But the scripture says, after the Holy Ghost come, you shall have power. Now I have to ask a question: you speaking in tongues, you doing all this, but where is your power?
Where's your power?
See, and then now we done got so used to not having no power, we start blaming the sheep by saying, "Oh, they didn't believe, they did this."
Yeah. Now that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
And I'm actually waiting on a preacher to say that. You want to know why? Because the Bible talks about where Jesus healed people that didn't know Him at first.
Yep. That's right.
Like what captivated the people was the miracles.
That's crazy you said it. Man,
the signs and wonders. Crazy. He said, "The signs and wonders shall follow them that believe." Could it be that we don't believe like the Bible says?
That
or we don't got the Holy Ghost like the Bible says? A lot of people talking, man. A lot of people talking.
Yeah, and some people believe up until a point, up until
there you go.
You even said this: if it's out of God's will, you know, are we still? Come on now, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And so, look, it's tight, but it's right. But guess what?
It's tight, but it's right.
What if we had the power? Think about it. What if we had the power we portray on Facebook in front of people? What if it was actually working? Could we save that which was lost through the manifestations of the church? And that's why I said God can't come in no confusion. God not gonna come in people that's separated.
No.
God not gonna come in with people. And listen, I tell people, and everybody, when you say this, they think you're talking about their pastor. They don't want they and most of the people that's talking about they'll fight for the pastor can't fight a bug. But the reality is, the reason why you believe your pastor and you believe what they say is because you don't know the book.
Yeah.
So if the pastor tell you the reason why you're not blessed because you don't believe, and you sit up here sweating, crying, hollering, praying, and he tell you that and you believe it, you need to check yourself, because you're basically saying is, I don't have no belief in myself. And I have put a man over the ability of God. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
And I've heard this before. I don't know if it was my my grandfather, etc. Somehow, but like you said, you can't look at your pastor as God. Okay,
That's right.
because and that's what happens. Like you said, because what if your pastor does fall?
Yeah, right.
And
Then what you gonna do?
Then what you gonna do? Because
Right.
God's not gonna fall.
That's right.
God's not gonna fall. So
That's
so
right,
that's a great point. And then the last thing touching on that is, 'cause I know I said to you the other day about the state of the church, and like you said, they're probably not. That might be another episode, because I don't know if they're ready for all that. But what I would say is that for someone like yourself that grew up in the church, and you and your brothers and sisters, y'all sing, y'all musicians, and all that good stuff, and young ministers, what would you say to young preachers nowadays? Because I tell you what, man, and I don't mean no harm, but it's not a lot. Like, I'm not impressed with the flamboyance or you ain't got to stand on the chairs, and I mean I'm just in these days, man, I just, it's not a lot. Like, I just need God, and it's all about my relationship with him and all that. I don't need you doing all that. But if you have some advice for a young preacher, because some young preachers, they're not really in the book like they should be in the book.
That's right.
So what advice would you give for young preachers as you are one yourself and have seen a lot?
Well, two things. When you make a mistake, don't run from it. Own it. Because I know people got this stigma, like preachers can't mess up, ministers can't mess up, nobody do no wrong. Now keep in mind, they're the same people that's doing the same thing you're doing, but they feel like, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I believe in holding us to a higher standard. I believe that. But we can't get to the point where when we do mess up or make mistakes, that it's the end of us. But at the same time, when other people make mistakes, they want a second chance. They want you to forgive them. They want they want things to turn around, but they don't look at you the same way. So you got to get past the point of looking at people to accept your faults, and pray that God accept your faults and forgive you. Because listen, the Bible, the ultimate lips that you want to hear, the words rather that you want to hear is "well done." Period.
Well done. My good
and that's only going to come from God. That's not going to come from He's not going to bring the people talking about you in the world and say, "What do you think?" He's the ultimate judge that's going to come back and judge this world. The scripture says, He says, "Behold, I come quickly." He said, "And my reward is with me." And He said, "I'm going to pay every man according to what he's done." Period. According to his works.
That's it.
And so I encourage people. And then another thing too, we got to lose this whole mentality of trying to impress people. Like, literally, we have become a circus. We are I call us clown preachers. All that whooping, hollering, spitting in the mic. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, there's no substance behind the word of God. Like, I heard what you said. Your cliches sound great. Too blessed to be stressed, and most people are stressed out. You know what I'm saying? All that crazy stuff. People, what would Jesus do? You know what I mean? He already told you.
I know what you mean.
I'm just saying. So we get to the point where now, but I blame this on the church because we allow charismatic, sweet words, guys that know how to talk, inspiration, and the scripture clearly tells us. He said we have a form of godliness, but we deny the power.
Yeah, we deny the power.
And he also tells us, he said that they got inspiration, but it's not according to knowledge. I can bring somebody that don't know no Bible, and he can have me so. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Let's talk about basketball. Before every game, I listen to DMX. When I was in high school, before every single game, I listened to DMX. Right?
Yeah, hype.
It's just a hype. Exactly. It's an emotional hype. So now we got inspiration speakers coming in hyping us up, but it's not according to knowledge. You got the prophet coming and say, God gonna give you a husband. Well, how you gonna give her a husband? She's sleeping with 6-7 guys. Or God gonna give you a wife. How the God gonna send him a wife and he can't stop sleeping with every girl he gets his hands on? So like we have to be careful with that stuff, man. Like, oh, somebody gonna bless you. How can God bless you when you don't think about nobody but yourself?
Like you said, every word is sweet. Every word is sweet. Though I grew up when I was a kid, and my grandfather, he kept it playing. He still did that. If you don't do right, if you sin and you don't get it right, you going to hell. And he said torment. He
Yeah.
always used to say that. He said we used to have a fireplace. He said, "You see how hot that fire is?"
Yeah.
He said, "You see how hot that fire is?" He said it's gonna be a hotter place. I mean, that's
We don't
everything is
believe
like
that.
you said is not sweet, but we don't believe that.
Everything is
Yeah.
not sweet, man. And we don't understand that because everything we say now with young people is they judging. They judging. Well, I got a scripture that says that
Man, that's a
we
good
are
point. That's a good
we are
point.
supposed, he said to this, he said, we are supposed to judge righteous judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing something contrary to the word of God, right? It is my responsibility as a leader to say, look, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. It's not that I'm judging you. I'm judging you according to the Bible because he told me to judge righteous judgment. And what is righteous other than his word? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that, like I tell people, if my father wasn't honest with me and told me the truth, I would think what I do is right when it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And there's that. If you look across the church world, most of the stuff we consider to be right is completely wrong. But nobody want to say it because we want to keep our church at 400 or 500 members.
Yeah.
We want to make sure the musicians don't go nowhere. We want to make sure the office.
Don't let the musicians go nowhere.
Let them listen. Don't let the musicians get their feelings. Lord Jesus. Then we want to make sure the offering right and the tithes and all that. We got to make sure that stay good. So now what we do is we hold back sound doctrine. And Paul's prophecy is coming to pass. He said, in my departure, grievous wolves going to enter in. Not sparing the flock. Think about it. We don't spare the flock. We don't care what happened to the sheep as long as we okay. Long as that money coming. And I know people say, I don't care nothing about the money. Well, if you don't stop putting up your tag when you say send an offering, you know what I mean? We're in a whole pandemic and we still got preachers begging.
You know what? That's a great look. You're gonna get me off of here because we're gonna be here all night. Because you just brought this to my attention. Because why now when like you said Facebook Live, now everybody, you got to sow a seed. I got a word. The Lord told me to give you a word, but I got to pay for the word, and you give it to me on like, huh? Like I just don't understand that. Like if God give you a word, the word is free. The word is a free word.
And I get that we have to support ministries. I'm not even fighting that.
Right, me too.
Because the doors have to stay open. I believe in blessing people. I believe in all of that. But when it comes to when it turns into begging, when it comes to using your influence to manipulate, then it becomes a problem for me. You feel what I'm saying? Because how many houses have you went to and said, you know what? I know you're going through, you ain't got no job. Here go $1,000 or $500.
Just say something like that. Just say something like that, man.
It may not be much, but it'll help you get a little bit over the hump. We don't care about that. Long as that money is coming, we're okay. We're okay with the foundation of, and that's why I say my grandfather been talking to me for the last couple of weeks, and he was talking about the church has lost its foundational doctrine where we stand on holiness. Now holiness has a different style. As people out here, the devil has convinced that he's going to take the men, move them to the side, and he's going to elevate the women. That's not even Bible. But that's what we think. No. That's what we think. But that's what I mean, though. When you are not a student of God's word, the enemy will turn your mind over to a reprobated mind where you'll start believing doctrine that's not even of God. And
you got to study for yourself.
You got to study for yourself. People, men and women are needed in the kingdom, right? Everybody that's in their respectable place will be used. But if you are out of order, you are offering strange fire, and God is not hearing or receiving what you're doing. And people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. I mean, we do. Think about it, man. We do anything. We do anything. And call it and say it's God. And say it's God.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that was a great point. I tell you, man, we could really elaborate on that. Like I said, we're gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna do a part two and really get into some more stuff, man. I definitely want to pick your brains and stuff, but man, I definitely, man, appreciate you, man. I know I'm gonna get off of here and I'm gonna sit around and say, man, I forgot to ask Fletch this. It's always one thing I forget to ask people.
Well, can I say something before you get off here though about
go ahead, man.
About our young people, man. Listen, whoever's on here, man. Over in Felsburg, we don't have what Easton has, and what I mean by that is the facilities, the support, the wise, and what's happening now is, man. And I know people think it's crazy, but listen, I talk to parents all the time. they are literally hitting me up like, what we gonna do for the kids? And I'm telling you this, and those who listen, it's so far out of my hand because I don't have the support from our own town. Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
You say you don't have the support?
I don't have the support.
And you're somebody you're a youth coach.
Oh,
you're having a community. People know you. But if you try to go do something now, everybody don't got your back. Yeah.
I tell people all the time, man, my biggest struggle is I cannot get people to just support their freaking kids. And I tell people, I used to go to the school at 7 and not get home till 8, 9 o'clock at night because I'm either tutoring, mentoring, coaching, trying to make sure the kids' grades are straight, I'm trying to keep kids on the right path.
Yeah, trying to stay on the right path. Yeah.
Yes. And we don't have the facility to say, you know what? Well, I'll talk about that another day. We don't have the facility to say, look, okay, y'all can come here, recreation basketball, have something for the kids. Because let's just be real. Most of our kids only keep their grades to play sports. It's sad.
You're right. And then after that,
it's sad, but it's truth. So now you have it where our kids are going to be being taught virtually. And let's just be real. 95% of these mothers are raising sons, and all of them work. All of them.
Yeah.
So a guy like me, they depend on me because they know I'm going to keep their kids straight. Like, you're not going to be doing no goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what do we do for a kid that literally has nothing now? So like I encourage y'all to help. Reach out to me. Tell me what I can do. Because I need, I'm being so sincere when I say this. Like, there are kids who don't have a ride to go to Easton, go to Seaford, go to Salisbury. They don't have that. So, like, we got to figure out something, man. Like, it's so tough for us right now in Caroline County because Caroline County, I'm talking about Phillipsburg. I don't know what Denton got per se. But I know in Caroline County, at least 85 or 90% of our kids are doing absolutely nothing since March. Nothing.
That can't happen, man. That's what I'm saying.
And listen, in our community, when a kid becomes idle, where he's literally have nothing to do, guess what they start doing? Hanging out in the street.
Yeah, in the streets,
hanging out in the streets, and then they start doing things that they wasn't even thinking about doing, but because they have nothing to do, let's have a little fun. And listen, and I know people, we all done been there, young, you know what I'm saying, want to do something fun, end up doing something you shouldn't be doing, and next thing you know, you hook to it. You know what I'm saying? So I really need people to help me, inbox me, tell me something.
Yeah,
any
real
programs
talk.
going
Y'all heard Fletch,
You know what I'm saying?
Real
any
talk,
programs, tell me, like, where are we doing it at? So I can kind of get these kids doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I need help.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that. Man. And like I said, even if I hear anything, I'll let you know. And for people listening, you know, and like you said, and that's what I'm saying. Like, let's bring the resources together, and if we can help, because all the Eastern Shore, no matter what county it is, you know, whether it's Dorchester, Carolina, so if we can bring the resources together and help one another, because guess what? In the South, they doing that. They come together.
Man,
they come together. I know Jermichael and Andre and Bub and them, man.
And
they come together. Craig, you know what I'm saying?
I'm proud of them.
Yeah, proud of them. Every time I tell them, I salute y'all. Yeah, they doing a great job, and we need to come together. So I'll definitely, you know, let you know. And that's why I'm talking about, you know, in general, whether it's the church, whether it's just the people, whether it's whatever. But the community, we're living in a time now where we gotta help the community, because guess what? I've told some people this, and then I'll get ready to let you go. Is that
all right?
Take some people that's not safe for a moment. Say they in the streets or whatever. It's some people that you can't just go to them and say God this, God that, because some people, guess what? They need help first.
That's right.
They might need a hug.
Yeah,
they might need a piece of money. You know what I mean, for something real. You know, like you said, they might need some help finding a job.
That's right.
You know, stuff like that. And then you can go in and talk about relationship with God, stuff like that. You know, but like you said, these are conversations that we got to have.
I have reached many people who left the church and listen, hated it. Because they seen so much crazy stuff that calls me, that are calling me, talk to me about life. And that opens the door for me to say what I got to say. And guess what? They go right back and say, you know what, Fletch?
They go right back.
You was right. I don't go to them speaking in tongues, you know.
Exactly. You can't do that. You already you lose people like that sometimes. You gotta listen to what God is telling you. If some people you might could go up and do that. But man, somebody on the shit, man, you already lost them. They think you crazy. They don't know. You're like, And guess what? And there's some people, I gotta get off here. I'm gonna let you go.
You good?
And
You
there's
good?
some
Go ahead, Lance.
that they know the word more than the people in the church. They might not.
Right.
They might. Now they might don't live it.
Yeah,
but they
right.
know it.
But
and you come to them with something, and they like, huh? What are you talking about? Trust me, man. Like, telling you, man. But
so we gotta have these. Man. I totally agree with you, man. We gotta come together, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna do that, man. We're gonna do
I was so proud when y'all got that. What is it called? BAM.
BAM. Yeah.
I said, man, if we can get something like that. Yeah, if we can get something like that in our town, yo. And listen, this ain't for me. I want to do it because I want to help. Listen, my mom was that way. Yeah. When my mom got done raising us, she literally took on adopting kids, taking kids off the street.
Wow.
Like, I can't even tell you how many people
we
get together now. We got people coming out of family stuff. It's adopted. They're not family. Like, they're not our blood. These are kids my mom raised. You feel what I'm saying?
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
That's why I said we gotta do something better,
That's a ministry in itself.
That's a ministry in itself, man.
Yeah.
Listen, people see me all the time. Tell your mom I'm doing good. I ain't on drugs no more.
Yeah.
Like, to hear them say that about my mom and dad is
a beautiful thing, man.
You know what I mean? It's a great thing, man. That's why I said we gotta do better.
Yeah.
We gotta do something for our kids.
Man. That's awesome.
So let me know.
For sure. We're gonna do that. I will, man. I'll let you know, man. We can come together and have these talks, and definitely gotta get you back on here again, man. I definitely appreciate you jumping on, man. Anything else you want to say, man, before we close out?
Nah, I'm good. I appreciate you having me on, man. Listen, y'all. Listen, don't be ducking that rat.
That's right. I heard you say you're gonna come out retirement. I heard you say you were gonna get in shape.
They almost made me want to come out. Then I came to my senses, man. I came to my senses.
Yeah.
But I listen. A shout out to the Queen Anne's boards, Kent County boards, man. They're doing a good thing over there at Queenstown. You know what I mean? Bringing everybody together, having a good time. You know what I mean? Making sure people, and listen, they making sure people be safe. Got your mask on. So like they doing, they giving our kids something that we need. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Fletch, man. Definitely good chopping it up with you, man. I'll definitely be in touch. Everybody out there, man. I appreciate everybody. Make sure y'all share this. You know what I mean? And just keep supporting, man. Go subscribe to the YouTube page. But man, we out of here, man. Real Sports Fan Podcast, episode 25. Appreciate you, Fletch. You be safe, bro.
No problem, man. You too.
All right, man. Take care. Peace.